Let's open the book on this. Today in Irvine, an elderly man lost $25,000 in a scam where callers pretended to be law enforcement. I'm Leah.
And I'm Garrett. Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett here in Irvine, California.
First up, an 80-year-old Irvine resident was scammed out of $25,000 by callers posing as police. Here's what happened. Multiple people called him, pretending to be from the ATF, the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and even posing as Irvine's police chief. They told him he had criminal charges pending, which was false, and pressured him to pull cash from his bank. Then they told him to put the money in a shoebox and hand it to a courier at the Kohl's in town. The scam was reported April 24th, and police put out the warning this week, reminding everyone to verify any scary call by hanging up and calling the real agency back at a number you look up yourself. This really highlights how older adults can be targeted by sophisticated fraud, layered and convincing, using official-sounding titles and tight time pressure. And get this, the scammers even spoofed the caller ID, making the phone display look like it came from the real police department. Why ask for a shoebox drop at a retail store, though? It feels oddly specific.
Yeah, that's a curveball. Using a courier at a busy store gives scammers a quick in and out, fewer cameras focused on them directly, and no paper trail like a bank wire would. The caller ID spoofing really hits different. It makes your phone screen seem trustworthy. I'm down for more public reminders and simple checklists for seniors. Things like law enforcement won't demand cash, hang up and call the official number you find yourself, and bring in a trusted family member before moving money. That's a solid point to keep on the fridge. All right, let's roll on. Next up, UC Irvine researchers find a potential link between so-called forever chemicals and childhood leukemia. Forever chemicals, also called PFAS, short for per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, are man-made compounds that don't break down easily and can build up in the body over time. The UCI team looked at blood samples from Los Angeles County newborns between 2000 and 2015 and found that higher prenatal levels of certain PFAS, especially PFOA and PFOS, were associated with a higher risk of acute lymphoblastic leukemia, the most common childhood cancer affecting white blood cells. Important caveat, correlation is not causation. The sample size was relatively small, so this isn't proof, but it adds to growing evidence we should pay attention to. The researchers are calling for larger studies, including on newer PFAS that replaced older ones. One interesting thread, socioeconomic factors might shape exposure, since PFAS have shown up in common consumer goods like nonstick cookware, water-resistant clothing, and some cosmetics. The study also noticed babies born later in the time window had lower levels, suggesting some older PFAS were being phased out.
That's close to the heart of it. Environmental exposures that start before birth are a big deal. Real talk, when chemicals stick around in our blood and water, even small effects can matter at the population level. I'm with the scientists on this. We need bigger studies and more transparency on where PFAS still show up. I won't get preachy, but clearer labeling and smarter regulations feel like common sense steps while the research scales up. Okay, let's move on. Irvine City Council votes to explore ranked choice voting for future elections. The council approved in a 4-3 vote on April 28th, taking steps to consider ranked choice voting. Ranked choice means you rank candidates first, second, third, and so on. If your top choice doesn't have enough support, your vote transfers to your next choice. The idea is to reduce the spoiler effect when similar candidates split votes and someone wins with a small slice of support. Supporters say it could boost turnout, give more voice to voter preferences, and maybe cool down negative campaigning since candidates want to be your second choice too. The city attorney will draft an ordinance and do a cost analysis, and if everything lines up, it could be in place by November 2028. One hitch, the OC registrar's current voting machines don't support ranked choice yet, so there's a tech and cost curve to climb. Irvine's charter allows this change without a citywide ballot measure, by the way. Why now, though? Is the timing about boosting engagement or about avoiding runoffs?
Good question. I think it's a bit of both, the engagement puzzle and the spoiler effect frustration. Giving voters more ranked choices on a single ballot can feel more efficient and representative. But the tech side is real. If the county's machines don't handle ranked ballots yet, we'll need upgrades or a vendor solution, and that means time and money. Still, if the ordinance and cost breakdown pencil out, this one's got legs, don't you think? Let's switch it up. Supernal appoints a new tech chief to revitalize its flying vehicle startup in Irvine. Supernal is Hyundai's electric air mobility arm based here in Irvine, aiming to build eVTOL aircraft, electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, basically battery-powered air taxis that lift off like a helicopter and fly like a plane. The company brought in Farhan Gandhi as Chief Technology Officer on May 4. He's a rotorcraft expert with about 30 years of research experience. Rotorcraft means aircraft that use rotating blades like helicopters and tilt rotors. Supernal's had a rough stretch, with leadership shakeups, nearly 400 layoffs across locations earlier this year, and even a pause on aircraft programs while reassessing strategy. The new hire suggests a focus on stabilizing the tech roadmap and lining up partnerships to get a commercially viable model back on track. Big picture, the eVTOL market is crowded and unforgiving, and even with major backing like Hyundai's reported $1.7 billion investment, you need crisp engineering milestones and clear safety certification paths. If Gandhi can tighten the flight physics and systems work, and the teams align around one clear design, they could re-enter the race with momentum.
That's fascinating. I'm cautiously optimistic. A steady hand on the tech side can calm the waters. Urban air mobility, think crosstown hops that skip freeway traffic, still feels like a near-future play if safety, noise, and cost targets line up. Real talk, if they can prove reliability and make it accessible, that could change how people move around Orange County someday. Last up, Corona Del Mar University and Woodbridge High Schools earned top seeds in the CIFSS boys tennis playoffs. Orange County is stacked this year. Corona Del Mar is the top seed in Division I after a near-undefeated regular season. University, a powerhouse with 4 straight Open Division titles in recent years, is seeded second, and Woodbridge, last year's Division I champion, is seeded third. For context, the CIFSS shifted so Division I is now the top tier, replacing the old Open Division setup. Playoffs start May 8th, and the finals are May 15th at the Claremont Club and the University of Redlands. Expect tight matches. The gap at the top looks razor thin.
Yeah, that checks out. Hats off to the players and coaches. With CDM's form, University's championship DNA, and Woodbridge defending the crown, we might see some nail-biters and maybe a late-round upset. That's a story worth telling on the courts this week.
Thanks for tuning in to Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett here in Irvine. Hope you have a great day.
Catch us tomorrow for more updates, and stay curious.